Okay, Madam Mayor, we are ready.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I'll call this special city council meeting to order at noon, straight up noon. Acting City Manager Norm Regis, would you start us in the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Today's roll call, Casagrande,
Here.
DeMoss, haven't heard from her, so. Cease is excused, I believe, Madam Mayor.
Yes, I believe so. She said she wouldn't make it at the last regular meeting.
Osenga,
Here.
McClure,
Here.
Baclan is held at work, I believe, and Mayor Terry,
Yes.
you have a quorum.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is citizen comments on any subject except those items scheduled for public hearing. So we're back to our normal. So folks could have submitted written comments just like previously, and then has there anyone signed up to speak?
No, Madam Mayor, we don't have anyone signed up,
Okay, thank you.
and no comments provided.
Okay, thank you. Next on the agenda is the approval of the agenda and consent agenda, and I'm looking for a motion and a second.
I move for the approval of the agenda and the consent agenda.
I'll second.
And Madam Clerk, I'll just look around. I don't think there's any discussion. We'll just call for a roll, please.
Voting
Call for
on
vote.
today's agenda and consent agenda, McClure,
Yes.
Casagrande,
Yes.
Osenga,
Yes.
Mayor Terry.
Yes.
Your agenda is approved. There are no consent items.
So our first item and only item is a new business item. Conduct a second interview with the city manager candidate finalist. Oh, and thank you, Councilmember DeMoss just joined us, which thank you so much. I am going to kick it off. We have, I'll just go ahead and read the questions directed to you for you to answer.
Okay.
I'll also say that the clerk noted that if there's any follow-up or if an individual council member needs a further explanation, they're welcome to do a follow-up question because it's not like we have to, I'm not pointing, are you laughing because I'm looking right at you? I'm just looking this way. If it's not like we are currently interviewing 2 people or 3 people where we need to have the same question for each person. So if there's something else, people can join in. And I might just say that our candidate has had a negative COVID test, and I just want to throw it out there. I believe that everyone else wearing masks is appropriate for the time, but we as a council and a public might want to see her face. Is there any objection to her taking off her mask? I see she is social distanced. And I'll just check in with the assistant city manager who's pretty close. Do you have any problems?
I have no
or
problem
any
with that.
concerns? Councilmember Casagrande, you're the next closest. And does the public have any concerns with that? Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
So, yeah. So welcome. I know that administration has been taking you around showing us your town, so I'm sure you're thoroughly impressed
I
and
am
ready
impressed.
to sign up. We just have a few questions for you today, and I'll just kick it right off.
Okay, great.
What has been your most creative economic development accomplishment, and what lessons from that might you apply to Seward?
Trying to think of a specific example. I think that for all economic development activities, it's always been I don't want to say a group project, but it's been partnerships. And I think more than anything, that's the most important thing, involving the stakeholders and having everyone come together. I am also trying not to be redundant, so if I am from a previous interview, and then of course I had a pre-interview with Rachel, so some of it I'm like, did I say that to Rachel? Did I? So I'm trying to sort through my head. I believe I've expressed this before. We had a Highway 10, the city of Wadena is divided by 2 major highways, and then there's a 3rd major highway as well. But there's Highway 10 project, which completely divides the town, and MnDOT Minnesota Department of Transportation had a road project to widen the road through town, which is a great project. Along with that, we have water sewer infrastructure. However, the problem with it is that it closed in and out the main thoroughfare through town. People could not access our town, which had a very big impact on our downtown area. Throw in COVID, and that's a whole nother matter, but that came along at the same time. So it was a very big potential impact for downtown businesses. We wanted to provide any support we could for businesses, and a group of us worked together on what could we do. We had, before COVID hit, we had monthly events planned to bring people into our downtown a different route. So that was a planned thing. Of course, with COVID, we couldn't do that. But one thing that I did do, I wrote a grant, and honestly, it's the easiest grant I've ever written. It's just a one-page grant, very easy to write. But I wrote the grant to an organization called Sourcewell. It's there in Minnesota, and actually they're national, but they're located not too far from us. And it was a grant to for signage, so that we could have signage to say, yes, Wadena open. This is how you get to our businesses. You know, MnDOT has the ugly orange signs, you know, construction, that sort of thing. They have those ugly signs. But we did other creative signs. It was fun. It's Kirby. We called them Kirby, the curve. We did that and put those signs throughout all of Highway 10. There's Highway 71 and the access to bring people into the downtown. We were going, like I said, we were going to do events. The Highway 10 project, while Highway 10 is open now, it's not complete. And we wanted to hold one last, like, we survived Highway 10 event. As soon as the weather is nice and we can be outside, because we have a lot of COVID restrictions still at this time. But that's probably one that you know, the $2,500 grant, that's okay. But it's bringing everyone together to solve the issue of how are we going to support the businesses and bring people into town.
Very good, thank you. So based on your knowledge of Seward, what is the #1 issue you expect to deal with on day one?
Probably COVID impacts. Thankfully, these two gentlemen were very informative, and I've learned a lot. And I think it's probably less than anticipated even a few weeks ago, so that's good. But COVID impacts and any long-term impacts, especially from the cruise ship industry. I understand that the day cruises have started. I've also know from my area, and I believe it to be true here as well, people are ready to get out and about and to get out of their community and go to another community. What I've noticed in our area, and I have to believe it's true here in Alaska because of Alaskans and who they are. They want to support other communities as well. We've noticed that people coming from the towns next to us coming in and spending money in our community and vice versa. And I believe that will happen here, and I think it already is, but I believe that, especially from, was it you had February 14th event? That sounded really exciting. So that was cool. But I think the long-term effects probably from the cruise ships and trying to work on those effects.
Great, thank you. So this one, it feels like you're right on track with our questions because you've already alluded to this, and maybe it just gives you an opportunity to expand further. But how will you gather stakeholders and create a unified vision for where Seward needs to go?
I think really by getting to know everyone and meeting with them. I like to meet with others. I like to hear feedback. I like to know what's going on. I've said I'm an open book, so I like the questions back and forth. I like to know what are issues, what's going on, and how can we solve them. So bringing people together, going to the organizations, going to the stakeholders, going to businesses, just speaking to everyone and getting to know everyone.
Yeah, that's great. So this is the typical question. So it's a two-part, but I'll just give you the first part first. So what is your greatest weakness?
Greatest weakness. Trying to narrow it down. I feel. I didn't mean it like that.
Yeah. We all have a sense of humor.
Yeah. Probably, honestly, math. Math is my, well, there's two, but math is my greatest reason. I 100% love finance directors and really strive to always have a good working relationship with them. And I probably would say I might get a little annoying to them because I ask lots of questions regarding the budget, and budgeting is easy for me, but beyond that, math is just not my forte. Sense of direction, I told these guys, sense of direction, I don't really have. But back in Alaska, it's so much easier because there's mountains and landmarks and stuff like that. But anyway, that would be it.
What is your greatest strength? This is a funner question.
It is a funner question.
Yeah.
Probably bringing people together. I really do believe in that. I like to meet people, I like to talk to people, I like to hear their story, and I like to problem solve. How can we solve it? Solve a problem? I don't know if you knew Sandy Dillon. She was a Matsu Borough clerk for a very long time, and I thought of her as my mentor. She had a saying, tell me where you want to go and I'll see if I can get you there. And she never answered no and didn't believe, like, no, we can't do that. It's like, okay, give me a minute to think about it, read the code and see what can be done, but not an immediate no. Obviously, there's some statutory things and there's code things where you do ultimately have to say no, but what's the creative way to get there? How can we get there?
Right? Okay, so, turn the page.
Okay.
Great job on the questions, ladies. Thank you. This, Liz and Rissy.
Oh.
Councilmember DeMoss and Councilmember Cascarano helped get the questions.
Thank you.
Seward citizens are actively engaged in their local government and stay abreast of civic matters. We've had ongoing community conversations about issues of diversity, inclusion, and other social concerns. Talk to us about what that means to you and give us an example from your own experience that you think would illustrate your work in this area.
So this was a question from the previous interview, kind of, sort of, and as I explained, and I'm glad I get to expand on it, I guess, a little, is that where I am in Minnesota, it's not a diverse population. It really, truly is not. There's a Finlander community there, but anyway, it's a funny story with that. But and so there's not a lot of diversity there. However, we are having major conversations where I am and about diversity and inclusion, and we're changing policies. Especially our police department, especially with all the mandates that are coming from Minnesota, the state legislature, which are good mandates. But we're having lots of conversation about it. We're also going to start some training on it. Like I said, we don't have a lot of diversity, but that doesn't mean we can't be sensitive to what we need to be doing and what we should be doing. So I would say that as far as what I have done in the past, I'm still in process. I would really say that. I did live in Bethel, and it's, as you know, a very diverse community. And for me, I don't know, I want to make sure I say this correctly. I don't see diversity, we're just all people, that we all need to come together to solve issues. So that's how I feel about it. I do realize that sometimes it's harder than that. I do understand that it's harder than that, and I respect that.
Thank you so much. What are your expectations and what is your approach to how staff reports are prepared and presented to council?
So I do believe in deadlines as far as getting things complete. I absolutely believe they should be as complete and factual and provide as much information as possible. I really find value in written reports and written documents for a number of reasons, for obviously a paper trail, but also I think about 20 years from now, when somebody is researching an issue, can they go back and read what is written to be able to figure out what's going on? And I have been places where that is not the case, and so I really find value in that type of written document. I also think that it's really good for the council to have all the information. I apologize if I keep.
No, it's okay.
Also have all of the information written ahead of time and be able to ask questions about it. So I really place great value on that.
Yeah, excellent, thank you. You can tell your experience comes through that, many years of working with council and the city. So, this is a situational question. You have been on the job just a short time and promote an employee into a higher position. Following the completion of their probationary period, you begin to realize that promotion was above their skill level. What do you do?
Well, I will use all available tools. For one that I've used in the past, and I actually do have an employee on this, performance improvement plan, I call it a PIP, but in performance improvement plan, meet with the employee. I think sometimes employees can be coached, and you can do that through the the performance improvement plan, and coach them and guide them and do what you can. If there is a point where they cannot progress, then you do have, other actions do have to be taken. But first, I would approach it through a performance improvement plan for coaching and guidance.
Thank you. So this is kind of an open-ended question, but what is your style or approach to resolving conflicts?
Communication. It truly is communication. And bringing in, I've had a few conflicts within my office, and bringing in the two that have the most conflicts and talking to them. I kind of serve as their mediator sometimes. It's like, you two need to talk. It's not a disciplinary thing. There's nothing I can discipline that's going on. It's just you two need to talk. So I will be here. I'm going to sit right here, and I'll call foul if it gets to be that, but you do need to talk. And that's been successful. I'm thinking I'm at 80% with these two, but we're working on it.
That's great. Thanks for having a recent example for that too. So how will you ensure that council policy and Seward City Code is followed by administration?
Well, I think knowing it, I've always thought as statute, policy, code, all of that. Former city attorney in Palmer, before he retired, called it the safe harbor, and you go to your safe harbor. So you look at it, that's your safe harbor, where you need to go to be in. If it needs to change, then you go through the process to change. When I first went to Palmer, we had a conversation. I'm like, but Jack, that's not what we do. He's like, what? What do you mean? Are you doing what you're doing? Or are you following the code? Because there's your safe harbor. So that has always stuck with me. Go to the safe harbor first, and then work through the process if it needs to change. And then constantly reading and knowing it. I think I said before, but Seward's charter is almost identical to Palmer's charter, so I love that. And with a few exceptions, but. And of course, Title 29, the one page of Title 29, home rules have to follow.
Well, that was it. I mean, clearly, you are on your game and have answers for anything we can throw at you. So I don't know if there's any follow-up. We could go around and introduce ourselves quickly, or did you have a follow-up question? Maybe if we just take a second and introduce ourselves, and then if anyone has a follow-up question, does that sound good? I'll start. Christy Terry, Mayor, thank you for being with us today. And maybe I'll go to my right.
Okay, and we've met, but Sue McClure, and I'm on council. This is my 6th year on council.
Okay.
And prior to that, I was on the Borough Assembly for 6 years. I was a representative from here, so yeah, I'm the one that's been on the longest so far, I guess, around. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
And then if you ladies don't mind, I'll just go to my left on the dais.
Oh, okay, I'm John Osenga, council member.
And then we have our newest member.
I'm Liz DeMoss. I have been on council for like 6 months now, and I apologize for being late today. And I guess if I could ask you one question, I would ask, how soon would you be willing to relocate?
I would like to give 30 days notice, and I would have to do that at a meeting, obviously, have to do that at a meeting. So it would have been the 30 days after, and then the transition time to come up. My husband and I have talked about how would we make it work, and so the one thought is that he would basically come up with me with a cargo trailer, driver stuff, some of the stuff up, and I would come first, and then he would transition up after a while. But that's kind of
Okay, great.
the time frame that I'm thinking of.
Nice. Thank you.
Did you have another question? You're welcome to.
I don't think so, not right at this moment.
Thank you. Councilmember Casagrande?
I'm Rissy Casagranda. I was born here in Seward, but then I grew up in Palmer.
Oh,
So
really?
I'm on the same path as you, so it's really interesting. And I am a local business owner, and I served some years on council and then took a break, and I just am new again, back on.
And you were in Mexico not too long
I
ago.
was in Mexico, yeah. Yes. And I don't really have any other questions. I appreciate you coming all this way and being here, so thank you.
And then I'll turn it over to you. I don't know, you might have had all your questions answered by administration or the clerk, like with the logistical details, but if you have any questions for us, we're happy to answer them also.
I think maybe, I don't know, the question you asked about the way it proceeded in my mind, the number one thing, I think I might have asked it at the last interview, I'm not sure. But what would be the council's expectation of the first thing?
Yeah, that's a good question. And I'll just maybe speak for myself, and people can say I'm wrong or not wrong, but for a while we've been kicking the can down around about a lot of our capital projects. So I think kind of wrapping and organizing that, and I know that the current administration's done a good job of trying to get that together. And then I think you're spot on, and that's kind of hand in hand. We definitely have a huge economic situation to start addressing. So I think those two things and the city's budget, are just kind of wrapped into kind of the same path in getting those things kind of synchronized and getting a vision for where we go from here. I mean, we clearly were hard hit with our dependence on tourism. So, I've kind of been saying this publicly, like it's 1965. We've had our earthquake. It's time to, regroup and see what the vision is moving forward, and making sure that we're, as a community, have some longevity. And I don't know, I'll open it up if that, is there anything else, or that was very general. Does that sound good? Yeah. Go ahead.
What I think is really exciting and cool is that the energy surrounding coming out of COVID, that I think there's really good opportunities. I did listen to, watch the meeting where Jason from the chamber was here, and that's exciting to have it an active chamber. We do not have one in Wadena. We have a chamber, but it is not active. They're having some struggles, and it sounds like they're going to take a step back and see what they want to be. So it's very exciting to be able to partner with an active chamber to move things forward as well. So I do think there's a lot of community support all around to move forward, to see what can be done, and to make sure everyone makes it through. I really do think that. So that's exciting.
Yeah, that's good. Good positive thing. And so just some of the logistics, we do have a further discussion on this on our next regular meeting, which is a week from today. And from there, we'll know.
Monday.
It's Monday.
Oh, what day is it? It's Wednesday. Sorry, it's this coming Monday. I don't know why for a second I thought it was Monday.
I was agreeing.
Yeah,
We're
sorry about
sitting
that.
in the same room on Monday.
I know, it seems like we're always here on Mondays, but Monday, which our agenda came out yesterday and it's been published, so
Okay.
we'll be discussing this at a regular meeting on Monday, and then we'll have some further updates for you.
Okay.
And then I know, just while I still have the floor, the community has an opportunity to meet with you at 7 o'clock tonight at the Gateway Hotel. And we'll just ask everyone wear masks and social distance, and we'll just be conscious of that. But again, you've had a negative test on your way up here, so thank you for subjecting yourself to that. We appreciate it. So with that, we'll move on to citizen comments. And you do not need to sign up for this, and we do have 2 members of the public here, so I'll just look to them and see if there's any citizen comments. No citizen comments, thank you. Council comments, and administration comments. I'll start with administration. Do you have any comments?
Yeah, sure, Madam Mayor. So we've been taking it all over. We've been throwing a lot of stuff out of here the last couple of days. We're showing her SMIC and all the stuff we got going on over there, and then showing her each of the departments. We're actually going to go and show her the electric this afternoon. So it's a big thing there, and Rob was explaining about all the electrical infrastructure stuff we're going to be doing here in the future. So that's really good. And she has some work down there with some electrical stuff, so it was really nice. And her and Rob were thinking, I just sat back, and it was great. So yeah, no, it's been good.
I just want to say thank you to Ms. Bauer for her time, and had an opportunity to get around with a lot of our department heads and learn a lot more about Seward, and she's been soaking everything up over the last couple days, and look forward to spending this afternoon with you as well. Thanks for bringing the nice sunny weather. And yeah.
It's like this all the time. You told me that.
You might have to be here for a while, then, I guess. So yeah, just thank you to Ms. Bauer for taking the time to meet our community and engage with us as well.
That's excellent, thank you. Well, I'll start with Councilmember McClure.
Well, I echo all that. Thank you for coming, and it's good to actually have a chance to meet you. And I really want to encourage all the people that are out there to come tonight at 7 o'clock at the new hotel, because they'll get a chance to talk to you and meet you in person. So, and it is always sunny in Seward.
So, and then I'll go counterclockwise. So, Councilmember Casarani.
Just thank you for coming.
Councilmember Demas.
Yes, thank you so much for coming. We're really excited that you came, and I'm personally very excited that you already have lived here for so long, and that you love Alaska and you know you want to be here. So, so yeah, thank you.
Councilmember Osenga.
Just what everyone else said, thank you for coming. Very nice to meet you, and I won't probably be at the dinner tonight, but I think I'm going to try and make it to the meet and greet. But again, welcome.
And I'll just wrap it up saying thank you, and also asking the administration to thank the department heads, because I think I know it takes time out of their daily workload, but having the opportunity to kind of front load some of those things and give you a clear picture is really helpful. So, and thank you guys for taking the lead on showing her around and driving up to Anchorage and keeping her safe on the way down here. So, well, with that, to everyone watching, if you have comments or questions, get them to the clerks to get it to the council members, and also we'll see you tonight at 7 at the Gateway Hotel. And with that, I'll go ahead and adjourn at 12:28.